Let's welcome in our guests who are joining us this morning. We have Sameet Chavan, a technical analyst at Angel Broking, and we have Aditya Agarwal. He's head technical research at Ways to Wealth. Good morning, gentlemen. Welcome to NDTV Profit. Aditya, please give us your top picks for the day today.
Well, my top pick will be a buy call in Tech Mahindra. Means if we see Tech Mahindra stock has seen a good correction last week, but on lower side 460, 462 remains a very crucial support level. And from those levels, we saw pullback in yesterday's trade. With this stock added almost 1.5-5% shares of open interest, which are on long side. So from these levels, we are expecting that Tech Mahindra can see good pullback, and on the higher side can retest 495 to 500 levels. So the risk reward ratio is in favor of buyers at current levels. One can buy keeping a stop loss of 460 with target of 495. My sell call will be on Dr. Reddy. If we see Dr. Reddy at 31.20 was a resistance level. The stock break those levels, but it failed to sustain. In yesterday's session, we saw some short position getting built up from higher levels. So we are suggesting to initiate short positions in Dr. Reddy on any pullback towards 3090, 3100 can be used to make short positions. We are expecting that the stock can test 3000 level in short term, and for any short position, one should keep a stop loss of 31.45. My third call will be a buy call in Havells. If we see Havells, stock has given a good breakout above 345, 350 levels, and for last two trading sessions, stock is sustaining above the resistance zone. And we are seeing some long position getting built up on any decline in Havells. Stock is looking very good, and we are expecting the stock can test 380 levels in short term. So one can initiate long position at current levels with a stop loss of 352, sorry.
All right. Sameet, what about your topics?
Good morning. We are quite optimistic on the market purely with a near-term perspective, and thus we have all three buy recommendation. First one would be on Britannia. This stock has already undergone a strong price-wise correction, and since last couple of weeks we have been witnessing some consolidation happening around 2800, 2850. So this has become a very strong support. On Friday we saw good positive traction in this counter with substantial rise in volumes. Yesterday we saw subdued movement, but we believe that it would be a very good buying opportunity. A near-term target would be around 3030. Stop loss would be around 2842. Our other buy call would be on Century Textiles. Clearly this has been outperforming of late. It has been maintaining its height of higher bottom formation on daily chart. Yesterday we saw good recovery from low levels. Thus going ahead, we expect the stock to move towards 882, which would be a near-term target, and stop loss would be around 813. Our third buy would be on KTK Bank. After forming a strong base around 105, 106, the stock has managed to give a decisive breakout from a near-term hurdle of 112 on a closing basis. Since last 3-4 days, we are seeing a good positive traction in this counter. Yesterday also we saw good price movement in this counter. Thus going ahead, we expect the stock to extend this rally. Our near-term target would be around 123. Stop loss can be fixed at 116.
All right, Shrikant Shetty is also joining us this morning. Shrikant, what are your top picks?
So I think overall the markets look a bit positive. I think IndusInd Bank numbers could drive banking stocks. So we have a positive view on HDFC Bank from a positional perspective. We like IndusInd Bank as well, where we have investment target about 1400 there. But if you look at HDFC Bank has not been performing in the recent rally. So from a trading perspective, maybe that's a stock to look at for potential target about 1260. So that's where we're looking at from a trading perspective with a stop loss about 1160 there. So that is one. And in the metal pack, we like Hindalco from an investment perspective, where we have a positional target of about 234. So we think it's one of the best plays there within the metal pack, where valuations are quite attractive, and we would be buyers in decline. So that's a more of an investment view where we would like to accumulate from an investment perspective.
Right, as you pointed out, IndusInd Bank as one of the names in your picks. IndusInd Bank declares numbers today, so that will be a stock that will be in focus. Let's just look at the numbers, and I was looking at the numbers in terms of expectations. So for NII, 27% growth. Remember that this is the demonetization quarter, and still it is expected to be industry leading at 27%. Profit numbers, now that's a slight bit of confusion over there. Some are between the range of 21, 22, some are between the range of 28, 29, and the average comes in at 25. So 25% is also a big number. Loan growth is expected to be greater than than 25%. That will drive the PAT number. Fee growth likely to be weak as most of the employees were focusing in on demonetization, deposits and withdrawals rather than looking at the fee growth, which they generally tend to do. See positive growth trends in CV as well as some of the other associated segments. Ashok Leyland, some of the other numbers already reflect that. NIMs are likely to be stable between 3.8, 3.9. No major changes in the cost of funding that is there. Gross NPA as clean as it could be, 1%. No major changes. Last time it was around 900 crores. I'm talking about Q2. It's expected to be around 1,010, 1,020 crores. So not much change expected as far as gross NPA is concerned. Still, by far one of the top sector leading numbers is what IndusInd is expected to declare. 3:15 is when the management will be talking. They have a press conference scheduled after their board meet. We'll be cutting across to the management. Ramesh Sopti, MD and CEO at IndusInd Bank, will brief the media. More important than numbers, it'll also be important to see what the management is saying when post demonetization. When will things become normal?
Right. There are a few other stocks that we are watching out for. Engineers India is one which has bagged a big order, and that will be in focus. It is bagged an order worth 2,500 crore rupees from HPCL, Hindustan Petroleum Limited. That's the oil marketing company. And the order is for expansion of HPCL's Vizag refinery. The total order intake for Engineers India year till date is about 4,750 crore rupees. But there are some brokerages which remain quite bullish on the total order intake for EIL, and IDFC is saying that for FY17 the order intake for EIL is likely to be around 5,200 crore rupees versus 3,500 crore rupees. That stock in any case is looking very strong. It's up 3.5% and will be the one to watch.
Max Ventures will also be, Anisha, one company that will be in focus. There was a board meet yesterday. The stock was already up about 5% ahead of that. Now, there has been a news flow that Max Venture will sell 22.5% stake to New York Life Insurance Company. Of course, this is a global company that they are selling to, 22.5% at 78 rupees. You can see the price at the bottom. It was already 4.5% higher. To sell stake at 78 rupees, this is for a total consideration of 121. Proposed warrant will lead to allocation of promoters as well for about 4.7%. The total money that the company would raise would be around 147 odd crores. The promoter holding, which is in excess of 50%, will come down to about 38%. Overall, it was a deal which was expected, but the price is at about 16% premium than yesterday's closing. If you take a 10-day average, then it's probably about 20-25% higher than the averages.
All right, there are a few other stocks to keep a watch of from the pharmaceutical space. We'll be watching out for Alchem Labs. It has got the US drug regulator, US FDA is not, for finasteride tablets. Finasteride tablets are used for hair treatment. There is another pharmaceutical company, Ajanta Pharma, that has got the drug regulator, US FDA is not, for Duloxetine hydrochloride capsules, and they will be launching this product in 3 different strengths. Then we have a Bank of Baroda, which has cut interest rates for home loans to about 8.35%, making it competitive, given that the market leader SBI, the biggest lender, has already cut MCLR, and hence its home loan rates have also reduced. We have Tata ELXI and Spirent. They've announced a new contract from the China IT Ministry, and they will also be in focus today. Let's go back to our guest. Okay.
Right, Anisha. Shrikant, you mentioned about IndusInd Bank. Numbers, of course, it's not expected to see any major dent versus some of the sector names as well. But do you think that commentary on when things get normal, how has the business been after demonetization, all of that will be much more important?
Yeah, it will be. See, because the numbers, as you rightly said, the broad expectation, I think even the management has indicated that the overall numbers they've been able to deliver, they'll be able to deliver. So in terms of growth, we are also expecting around 20-25% kind of growth in the bottom line. So that expectation is there, and I think the overall what will be important is the guidance in terms of what they're talking about, what is the current scenario, how is the loan growth pickup, maybe in the MSME segments or the segments which have been affected, auto segment where we have seen slowdown. In terms of numbers, in two-wheelers we've seen a lot of slowdown in terms of numbers. So we want to see what is on the ground level, how the loan pickup is there. All these things will be relevant in terms of how business is shaping up.
Aditya, how is IndusInd looking on chart?
Banking space, and particularly private banking space, IndusInd Bank is one of the most strongest stock. Means its stock was consolidating in a range of 1,000 and 1,100 for last couple of weeks, and we saw breakout in last week. And after that, stock has seen a decent rally. Now, from current levels, means 1175 is the immediate resistance level, and if that is broken, then we are expecting that stock may retest its previous highs of 1245, 1250 levels. So overall structure for stock is positive, but one should wait to initiate long position. I would advise to buy above 1175 levels with a target of 1250.
Right. Shrikant, then if you want BEML, now yesterday there was news flow which suggests that government is looking to sell a majority stake. The stock went up some 13%.
Yeah, we don't have an active coverage on it, but clearly, a move like that would clearly incite interest, a lot of interest into a company where if the government is willing to sell about 26% stake, I'm sure there will be a lot of interest in a stock like that. We've seen a big move yesterday itself, so not sure about the stock price reaction may be done for the time being. But I think if you start seeing some order flows into the company in terms of performances, then I think there will be a lot of interest in companies like this. And the implication of this move, I think, will be also could trigger a lot of interest in other companies, where the governments have spoken about, probably selling out or not being a core business for the government. These companies could attract a lot of interest. Could be speculative, but it will generate a lot of interest because the government has been talking about strategic sales now. So there could be a lot of small PSU companies or mid-sized PSU companies which may not be of real interest for the government to really hold on to, and they might be on the radar for from a speculative perspective or from where the valuations could be much higher if there is a strategic sale.
Sameet, the EIL has got an order. In the pre-open, it's indicating a 4% move up. Do you think EIL can do well?
See, if we look at the weekly and monthly chart, clearly this stock has been outperforming since last 6 to 7 months. We have already seen a V-shaped recovery from lows of 80, 85, which we were seeing 7 months back, and it is clearly trading around its 52-week high. Yes, of late we saw some correction from higher levels post the corporate action, but we believe that overall structure is quite positive. So any dip 145, 140 would be seen as a very strong support, and it would be interpreted as a very good buying opportunity. As you pointed out, this stock is likely to open higher, but risk to reward ratio wise, we would rather wait for a dip to happen, and so 140, 145, these are the important level to watch out for. If the stock reaches those levels, then it becomes a very good buying opportunity.
Right, just about 40 seconds remaining for markets to open. Even housing finance companies will be in focus about the Bank of Baroda news that has come in. So, Diwan Housing, LIC Housing, all of that could react. There is a rate war which was expected, but let's just see how the markets react to that. IndusInd Bank will declare numbers today. That will be important. EIL, we just spoke about it, and Max Ventures. These are the three names to watch out for, at least in the open. Just about 10 seconds remaining. From pharma, 2 key approvals have come in. So, whether it's an Alkem Lab, which could be in focus, and also a couple of other names. Aurobindo Pharma had a con call yesterday, but we focused on the news flow yesterday. The stock did open higher and then ended on the lower side. Just awaiting the market open. We should start getting prices anytime soon. There you go with the first ticks. IndusInd Bank is up about 10 rupees or so, 26 points higher for the Nifty, 826266 in fact. So it's exactly at the first resistance level that we spoke about. SBI is up about 0.2, ICICI Bank is up 0.6, ITC is up absolutely flat right now, and BHEL is on the positive side. Bank of Baroda is 1 rupee higher, 153. ONGC is on the positive side. EIL, of course, is among the top gainers, 3 to about 4% higher, 158. They've got a very big order of about 2,500 crores. 10,000 crore is the market cap, so it reflects the size of this order. Aurobindo Pharma is up about 2 rupees or so, 697, 20,000 shares traded. Max Ventures is now up about 14.5%. Remember, there is this big deal that we spoke about, and that's why probably it's up around 14.5%. Alkem Labs would be reacting to what is happening as far as their approval is concerned, but just 965 shares traded, so not much. Maybe Ajanta would react higher. So the drug is not new, what Ajanta has got, but their US business itself is so small that any approval is a material approval for Ajanta Pharma, and that's why it's up about 2%. Bank of Baroda, 90,000 shares traded. Home loan has been cut, and definitely it would have an impact. Tata Elxsi is up around 1.3% rather, so not much. Dr. Reddy's was among the top losers yesterday. It still continues to be in the red. Z Entertainment is up 50 paisa. Cipla is at 578, and Eicher Motors is up 128. But again, for Eicher, just look at the volume, 660 569 shares. So we'll just wait for volumes to pick up. Tata Motors 8 rupees higher, 508. Hindalco is at about 159. BPCL is the top gainer. It was among the top losers yesterday with all the card controversy and who pays for it. So 665 for BPCL now. Tata Motors is now the top gainer, 1.68% higher. No incremental news flow. You got the retail sales data, which was up 12%. DVR is just following what Tata Motors is doing. So that's also a name which is doing well. Infosys numbers come out on Friday, pre-market hours. Ahead of that, there is some sort of activity into this name. ONGC is at 200, but don't forget ONGC has been one of the best performing stocks in the recent, largely in the recent time that we're seeing. No losers, only Tech Mahindra is one of the most meaningful losers that probably you can see at this point of time. Anisha, any names that you can identify where volumes are also higher?
Well, Pankaj, we're seeing number of construction names moving higher. First, of course, Max Ventures, because the news development is up 16.5%. We have Punch Lloyd, which is up 6%. Hindustan Construction up 6%. MBL Infrastructure up 5%. We've got Mangalore Refinery up 5%. Engineers India is up 4.5%. Reliance Defence is up 3%, HPCL is up 2.7%, and Chennai Petro also up 2.7%. So some of these oil marketing companies, HPCL, IOC, are seeing some action today. Remember, crude has fallen 3%. So some of these refiners are buzzing today. We also have the likes of Jaiprakash Associates and NCC amongst the other gainers of the day. Very few losers. We are seeing some profit taking in MMTC. That's about it. So we're not really seeing very big changes coming through on the losing end, but there's some outsized gains, and the market's also looking very strong. The Nifty now having a gain of about 0.5%. Aditya, I wanted to come to you about two pharmaceutical stocks. One is Biocon and the other is Stride Sassoon. I think the open interest activity in these two counters has been interesting. Any view on them?
Well, Biocon is in pharma space, that is the most strong counter. Means we saw some correction, but stocks saw some strong support in the range of 840, 850, and from those levels we are seeing steady buying in the counter. Structure still remains good. 1020 is the immediate support, is the immediate resistance level in the counter, but I think that stock will break this resistance level, and on the higher side it can test 1080, 1100 levels also. So overall structure is quite positive, but yesterday's stock has seen a sharp movement, so this is not a time to buy. If someone wants to make long position, then I think one should wait, and if it comes in the range of 1000 to 980, that is a good level where one can go long in Biocon, keeping a stop loss of 945. On higher side of a position target will be 1070 to 1100. Similarly, if we see strides after yesterday, again this count has seen a good movement, and now on higher side 1180, 1185 is its very strong resistance zone in strides also. So again, I would not make position in Star as at current levels. I would wait for some depth. If it comes in the range of 1120 level, it's a good buy.
All right, Sameet, have you had a look on of the chart of Coal India? Coal India yesterday managed to hold on to 300 rupee levels. Do you think it could head higher? Do you see this as a strong stock?
See, if we look at the broader chart structure, this stock has clearly slipped into a consolidation mode wherein we are seeing a broad range now. In the near term, 312 to 315, these are the levels to watch out for. Those would act as a very strong resistance zone, and lower side, we see strong buying coming in at lower levels. Weekly 200 SMA is placed around 280. So on various occasions, we have seen the stock giving a sharp recovery from the levels of 280, 285. So going ahead, we would closely observe its price action once it reaches around 310, 312. Once we see this stock surpassing those levels, with supported by good volumes, then probably we could see extension of this rally. Until then, we expect this stock to consolidate in a range of 310, 312 and lower side 280, 285.
Imtiaz Qureshi is also now joining us. Imtiaz, good morning. Your picks for the day?
Good morning, Pankaj. No doubt we had seen very good momentum today in the morning, and most of the stocks of mine belong to the high beta, and almost they had given a very good move. First would be from the banking sectors. SDFC Bank, we had seen after a long time that SDFC Bank has given us some breakout on intraday chart. So today my all the picks would be for the trading prospect for next 2 to 3 days. Buy SDFC Bank with a stop loss of 1173 for the target of 1312. Next would be my from this housing finance, India Bull Housing Finance. We had seen the deep correction in the India Bull Housing Finance, and from there we have seen the breakout. Yesterday we have seen some higher top, higher bottom closing. So this is the indication that the down leg has been completed and up leg is going to start right now for the India Bull Housing Finance. Buy with a stop loss of 659 for the target of 724. And the lastly would be HCL Technology from the IT sectors. We had seen that most of the IT sector has given a deep correction, and in the Nifty IT, I think so this is the second leg has been over, and right now the third leg will definitely give the higher high. So yesterday we have seen some rounding bottom formation happening for the IT sectors, and right now I think so HCL Technology can outperform because previously rally from the out of the entire IT pack, HCL has given a very good outperformance.
Right.
So HCL Technology is a buy with a stop loss of 807 for the target of 885.
Right. As we are speaking, Biocon has again hit a new high. So 1020 was the earlier lifetime high. Right now, it's about 0.72. Shrikant, any view on Biocon?
No, we maintain a kind of conservative bias because of valuations. The overall story looks probably promising, but in terms of valuations, it looks a bit rich. So we have a slightly negative view in terms of valuation. So we would prefer some of the other pharma names which have corrected a lot. I think like Aurobindo Pharma, which has corrected a lot. So we think valuations are attractive there at about 14 times forward valuation. So we would probably be looking at some of those names which look attractive from valuation point.
Right. In terms of housing finance companies, you used to like LIC Housing, you used to like Diwan Housing. Bank of Baroda overnight has cut rates for housing finance quite sharply. Are you worried about price war in the housing finance companies?
No, I think it's not a surprise. We've seen the cuts coming from SBI. We've seen cuts coming from most of the banks now. So I think we will also see cuts coming from some of these housing finance names. Of course, in the interim, they might be impacted. Some of those guys who, if they reprice their loans immediately and if they're not able to improve their funding cost on an immediate basis, then there can be some hit on the margins. That's something. That's one part. Of course, in terms of competitive intensity, I think the competitive intensity has always been high in the housing finance segment, and some of these NBFC names which you spoke about have been able to grow despite the competition. So I believe they are in a position to deliver the growth. Of course, in the near term, because of the demonetization, we know that some amount of growth hiccups is bound to come through for some of these names. But from a longer term perspective, we still believe that most of these players like LIC Housing, HDFC, Diwan Housing, I think should be able to deliver strong growth over a period, given the kind of segment.
Is about this near-term problems already market have factored in?
To a large extent, yes. If you look at the corrections which some of these stocks have taken, I think more than 20-25% correction in most of the stocks which we have talked about, whether it's LIC Housing, whether it's DHFL, even HDFC, I think is at a lower end, I think, and looks attractive from a valuation point of view.
Samit, the oil marketing companies are buzzing today. Now, yesterday they were among the losers. Nothing has changed in terms of news flow, which has come in post-market hours. But do you think HPCL, BPCL, IOC, all three would continue to outperform?
See, if you look at the overall price action in the calendar year 2016, clearly the entire OMC space has outperformed. They have been bucking the trend, and if we look at the chart structure, we don't see any major weakness as such. There are no trend reversal as such. So they would rather continue this up move at least in the near term. We would expect some consolidation happening in a broad range. If we look at the levels of HPCL, then 480-82 would be seen as a very strong hurdle, which is the all-time high, and lower side 410-420 has become a very strong base. So we would expect some consolidation happening in this broad range, and we would rather wait for a breakout to happen beyond 482, 483 on a decisive with the decisive volumes in order to start a new leg of the rally. So in that case, once the stock surpasses 483 on a closing basis, we could see the stock heading towards 515 to 525. These are the next possible levels. So we would maintain our optimistic view, but no, at least in the near term, we would expect some consolidation happening in all these OMC stocks.
All right. Imtiaz, have you had a look at Adani Power? That stock also saw a good move a day earlier. What are the levels you're watching out for this stock?
Yes, Anisha, we had seen some sort of momentum happening last time, and I'm talking about 2 days back. and after that maybe one day was subdued for the stocks, and right now it's going on a edge. I would definitely wait for the Adani port to give a breakout about 288, 289. Until unless 288, 289 doesn't call off, I think so there could be the selling pressure on the higher side. So once this 288, 289 get call off, I think so there could be a very good momentum which can take the stocks above 300 plus. So one should wait for the stocks to give a breakout about 288, 289.
Wow. Imtiaz, my query was about Adani Power. Have you had a look at the stock of Adani Power?
Anisha, there has been a very fantastic rally in the Adani Power from the level of 27 till entire. You can say today also it has made a 33, 30 paisa. That's a high. And the previous the stocks which has been fallen from the level of 34 has gone down to 27. So that could act as a very stiff resistance. Once 34 has been crossed, I think the stocks can go back to can go higher to 37 and 38 rupees. So I think so if somebody has the position, they can lighten some positions, not fully but marginally. And if at all somebody wants to take a fresh position, then try to take only about 34 rupees 10 paisa, and if that calls off, I think so there could be a room of 37 to 38 rupees.
Right. Shrikant, a day earlier, stock like Granules India corrected very sharply. There were some observations made by the drug regulator in Portugal. Now, what do you do with a stock like this? You know, number of pharmaceutical stocks have been plagued by, all these US FDA regulatory issues. But we're also hearing about approvals coming through, about launches happening. For Granules particularly, what would you do?
See, in the near term, obviously it's a negative. I mean, what has come through yesterday, it's one of the major plants for them. It has significant sales coming from that unit, and the company has clearly indicated that. Of course, they believe that it will not lead to a significant negative impact. They will be able to remediate. There's no data integrity issues. That's what the management has said. And if you have to believe that, then we assume that things could get taken care of at the end of the day. But yes, near term, I think one would want to be cautious. One would want to see how these things shape up before you take a very aggressive position.
All right, that's it on Granules India. Shrikant, what about Aurobindo that announced an acquisition? How do you view that stock?
See, as I said, Aurobindo, we like the stock at current levels. The stock is pretty attractive after the recent correction. It's well placed with in terms of its product pipeline. So in terms of growth visibility, I think some of among the larger names, I think this is one of the stock where there is a fair amount of growth visibility in terms of business growth. And as I said, valuations are attractive. Post the correction does look good from an investment perspective. So we would look to accumulate the stock at these levels.
Right. Sameet, on the charts, if you could just tell us about Hindustan Construction Company. Now, again, it's not a part of FNO, so if you don't track, you could just pass this question.
No, we have been closely observing this stock since last few months. If you look at the overall price action during the month of September, this stock had given a decisive breakout with humongous volume. So since then, it's been just maintaining its upward trend, and it has been consolidating of late. But we believe that the overall trend remains positive purely with a near to medium term perspective. And this stock is likely to head higher. So 50 to 49 would be the levels to watch out of. So these are the major hurdles in the near term. Once this stock surpasses this level, then we could see much higher levels. But as of now, with a near to medium term perspective, we believe that 49 to 50 levels are quite possible. And on the low side now, 37, 36 has become a very strong base.
Right. Shrikant, we've spoke about oil marketing companies in detail earlier as well, and why you all are positive on that. But names like Reliance, names like ONGC, maybe even a IGL, you think oil sector as a whole is looking strong?
See, if you look at the broad perspective, yes, as a sector, oil has done very well. If earlier the moves started with OMCs, now we have clearly seen strong moves in oil companies, oil exploration companies, and ONGC, likes of ONGC, have participated in this move. Even standalone refiners have done well because refining margins for this quarter has been slightly better. So in terms of, if you're talking specifically of ONGC, there could be some more upsides given the large part of the move will depend on how the crude prices move. So our broad expectation would be that given the kind of moves which you've seen by OPEC and non-OPEC, you probably could see crude moving up to probably in the higher end of 60. So with that expectation, yes, I think from a near-term perspective, probably ONGC has some more strength there.
Imtiaz, any view on ONGC?
Pankaj, almost a very good performance we have seen from the ONGC, and I think so. There was a correction, and which was I can plot it as a second corrections, and right now the third up move is about to start. But I think so the stocks would require some sort of consolidation somewhere around in the range of 200, 203. Once this range gets settled down, I think so the up move will start, and the stocks can go higher till 212, 213 very much immediately. So as of now, the stock is trying to adjust the second leg and trying to open the third leg. And once the third leg get opened, I think so we'll see the higher high, and which will take the stocks to around 215 or 214 odd level.
So that's the view coming in on ONGC. Thank you, gentlemen, for sparing the time to speak to us on NDTV Profit. As you go, please leave us with your disclosures. Shrikant, let's start with you. Your disclosures.
No personal holdings, but most of the stocks which you spoke about might have been recommended to the clients.
Sameet, your disclosures.
I don't have any personal holdings, but our clients might be having positions.
And Aditya, your disclosures. Aditya, your disclosures. Imtiaz, let's take your disclosures.
Thank you very much. Personally, I'm not holding any of the positions what we had discussed today.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you so much for speaking with us at NDTV Profit.